Hello and welcome to our chair yoga session. For today, we will be using a chair, and I would say one chair only. We shouldn't necessarily use the blocks, so I will go ahead and just set those off to the side. And so I'd like you to find a chair that is nice and stable. I'm going to just readjust this so it doesn't cut my head off. So you want a chair that is stable if you are using a yoga mat, placing a chair on there. If you're using a chair in your living room, you can go ahead and just, I'm sure that's in a nice stable place already in your living space. So I'm just gonna readjust this one more time. And so I want you to come to a standing position with your chair, which can be either to the side of you or in front of you. I'm going to go ahead and place mine right in front of where I will be. And I want these two sets of the legs to be on the mat so that it feels nice and stable. So to begin, we're going to come to a standing position, and I'd like you to place feet about hip width distance apart. And you can just relax your arms at your sides, having the chair here right in front of us for some stability. So I'm just going to step off to the side here so you can see what I'm doing with my feet, but just reminding yourself we'll be right behind the chair here. So I just want you to rock back and forth, lifting the heels and then lifting the toes. We'll just start to begin to work on our balance right away at the beginning of our practice here. So as we're in this upright position, we want to align our shoulders over top of our hips. And so this will adjust as we move back and forth, but just being mindful of finding a nice tall spine. We don't want to be slouched over or have the belly sticking way out here. So we just bring our hips underneath of our shoulders. And then let's start to settle onto both feet equally. Maybe spreading out the toes and then placing both feet down on the mat. We're going to take our hands away from the chair here. As we inhale, lift the arms up to shoulder height. And then as you exhale, lowering the hands back down. Breathing in, lift. And exhale. A nice gentle flow of lifting and lowering. Now, if this bothers your shoulders, to lift the hands all the way up to the shoulder height, maybe we don't bring them quite as high. And if you have the range and it feels okay, and it even maybe feels like a bit of a challenge, try it out. See if we can bring our arms up to our shoulders. Then you decide here. So again, we're going to add something onto this. Go ahead and let the arms rest down at the sides. This time we're going to add some balance. Again, I'm just going to step off to the side so you can see what I'm doing with my feet, and I'm actually going to turn to the side. So as you inhale, we're going to lift the arms out to the side, maybe adding that heel lift. And then as you exhale, lowering back down. Again, we're going to start to play with our balance, lift and lower. So if you're doing this in front of your chair, maybe trying it out without the hands on the chair. See if that balance is there for you today. And if it's not, that's okay too. We can alternate hands. So one hand comes to the chair as we lift one arm out, and then switching one hand to the chair, reaching opposite arm out. You're going to start to feel some warmth building in the calves as we begin to work the legs. And as always, my pace may be way too slow or way too fast for what you feel like practicing today. Move at your own pace. And we'll come back to resting evenly on both feet. We're going to add some side body stretches. So we're going to take our left arm, reaching straight up towards the sky, and then let's add a little bit of a bend. So we're going to bend into the right side of our body as we reach up and over. So if you want to place both hands or both feet on the floor and one hand to the hip, you can do that as well. And then we also have our chair here for our balance. And then let's go ahead and switch over to the other side. Reach the right arm up. We're going to slightly lean over to the left until you feel a stretch through the right side of your body. And we'll repeat that, reaching the left arm up, bending into the right side, stretching out the left side. And again, let's repeat on this side. And coming back to the center, we're going to twist through the waist here. So as we add these twists, I want you to think about keeping the hips facing forward. So hips and toes are facing forward here. We're going to work into the core and then also into the shoulders. So breathing in, let's bring our hands to about somewhere maybe shoulder height or below. And let's start to twist towards our right. Back to the center, twist to your left. Now we're gonna, the depth of your twist is going to depend on how you feel in the hips and the shoulders, also into your spinal column. So we all have different limitations in all of those areas. So you move within your own range. I'll go ahead and turn to the side so you can see what this looks like. And we always have our chair here for support if we fall off balance. It's there to help catch us. Once again, just moving our spine in all directions. We have this twisting motion in. We got some side body stretches, and we'll get our extension and flexion in within this practice as well. Keeping our spine mobile, so important. All right, so let's come back to the center and we're going to use our chair. I'm going to go ahead and step onto this side of the chair. So my left leg is closest to this side of the chair and my right leg is outside. And so we're going to add some side leg lifts with an arm lift. So we're going to lift our right leg out to the side and our right arm. So you're going to lift as high as it feels okay. So if this is as high as it feels okay to go today, then that is the point that you lift to. If you're feeling like you have a little more range, maybe we lift a little higher, and one is not necessarily better than the other. We're doing what's right for our own bodies. So we're doing some shifting of the weight as well as we come back to standing position. Some of the weight shifts back into the right leg. Most of it right now is in our left leg. And you might be feeling some heat building in that supporting leg. We're going to repeat this on the other side. So we're going to go ahead and come over to the other side of our chair. And so now our right hand is resting on our support, perhaps our chair, as we lift left leg and left arm out to the side. And you may deal with mobility issues from one side of the body to the other. We often tend to be more flexible, more mobile, more balanced on one side of the body, and that all depends on our repetitious movement that we do throughout the day. So if we tend to use our right side for certain things, then that side might be stronger. And maybe we balance more on the left side, and a lot of these things we don't even realize as we move through our day. They do show up in a yoga practice. And we'll do just a couple more on this side to make sure we're even. Let's do one more. And coming back to our chair. We're going to rearrange our chair perhaps, or else you rearrange yourself around your chair, however that works for you. I'm going to go ahead and just turn this so that you have a better angle. I'm going to be behind my chair, so I want the back side of the chair to be the place where I can balance my hands. And so we're going to sit back into a squat. So your feet are about hip width distance apart. So if you think about aligning your hips over top of the ankles, that's about the width that the legs should be apart. And our hands will be on the back side of the chair or whatever we're using for balance. And then we're going to sit back into the hips. So we're going to sit back into our hips into a squatting position. So most of the weight as you sit back should sit back into the heels. You could almost maybe even lift the toes. As you sit back, think about where your spine is. Sometimes we tend to round into the spine and do kind of this hunched over motion, but I want you to think about having a tall spine so that you have like a stick from your hips to the neck, and even the neck. Notice if you start to either bend the head back or drop it forward. See if you can keep it nice and in line with the spine. Now, if this prevents you from sitting back as far as your hips might allow you to go, that's okay. I'd rather that you were doing the posture in a safe way that's safe for your body than finding a deeper squat, because that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Sit back, sending the weight of the hips back. So we're just shifting it back towards our heels. The weight is in the heels and then coming back up. Now, if you feel like you can sit back deeper into this squat, go ahead and do that. Your practice. So let's come back up to our standing position. We're going to keep our chair here and maybe add in a knee lift as we sit back into our chair. If that doesn't feel okay with your practice today, just continue with the same chair squat sequence we were just doing. So we're going to sit back into our chair again. As you come back to standing, let's lift the right knee. Sit back into chair. Lift the left knee. This alternating knee lifts. Again, so as you lift the knee, you just lift as high as it feels okay with you. You want to bring it up to the hip height, you can. Let's do one more on either side. So I'm going to lift right, and I'm going to lift left. Coming back to our standing position. We can keep our chair here for balance. I'm going to go ahead and just place that right in front of me so it basically stays in the same place. I'm going to take both of my hands and bring them out to 90 degrees, elbows out to about 90 degrees. So elbows are about at your shoulder height. And I want you to think about squeezing the shoulder blades together. Now, this is all going to depend on the range of motion here. I tend to have tight pectoral muscles, so it's kind of hard for me to open into my shoulders. And so you may be dealing with that in any number of joints that you have, whether it be your knees, your hips, your shoulders, wrists. Anyway, so bring your hands up to the here, and then we're going to squeeze the elbows towards the back of the space. So if you're standing here with the chair in front of you, Opening the shoulders, we're gonna squeeze and we're gonna hold. So think about squeezing the shoulder blades together without bringing the shoulders up. So we're gonna keep the shoulders relaxed down. Squeeze, and then slowly lower the hands back down. As we breathe in, we're gonna come back up to that position. Arms out at 90 degrees. Squeeze back behind us, hold, and then release the arms down. Let's do that 3 more times. Bring the arms up. Press back, hold, and release the arms down. Breathe, lift, squeeze, and release. We'll lift, squeeze, and release. That was our last one. Go ahead and shake out the arms a little bit. We're actually going to come back to a seated position on our chair. And if it felt better to have blocks under your feet, you can add that here, but I'm just going to sit kind of on the edge of my chair so that both of my feet are relaxed on the mat. And we're going to stretch out our tricep muscles. So I'll face you as we reach the right arm out, draw it across to the left side of the body. Take your left hand underneath of the right bicep, tricep area, and just give yourself a gentle pull towards the body. We're just going to hold this for another breath. And releasing the arm down as we extend our left arm out. Draw it across the body to the right. We're going to take our right hand, place it under this left bicep tricep area, and gently draw in. So we want to always avoid placing too much pressure at the actual joint. So rather than pressing on the elbow, we're just going to hold on to the arm just above that area. And we could also use the forearm as leverage here if that felt better. And go ahead and release that hand. On your inhale breath, let's come all the way up to a standing position and reach our arms overhead. So as you inhale, let's reach up. And exhale to relax both arms down to the sides. And you've completed your first standing practice today. Thanks for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your day.